Yeah, so this is the main chart and the main implication here, which is basically if you look at the S&P 500, which is obviously the benchmark index for US stocks and sort of the measure of, are you a big public company in the US? What you can see here is that if you go back to 1965, the average age of a company on this major index was 33 years old. So that company stayed on the index for 33 years. Maybe they grew and got onto the index, but then maybe they were bought or maybe they ended up falling apart. What's interesting here is that this ebbs and flows over time, but over the coming years, it's projected to drop down all the way to 12 years. So the average company on the S&P 500 is only be around for 12 years on that index. And the implications of this are shown at the bottom here, which at that churn rate, it's expected that half of companies on the S&P 500 that were there in 2018 will no longer be there in 2027.
That's a staggering insight. And is your sense that's sort of a reality we have to accept? I'd be curious in terms of your thoughts on how do leaders kind of reconcile that, what your data is showing, as they're all working hard to drive business continuity, certainly this year, but into the future as well.
Yeah, so there's two sides of it that I see that I think are interesting from a leadership perspective. On the one side, if you are a bigger company, you have to understand that the world is a lot different than it was 34 years ago. And because of the rising rate of technological change and because of a bunch of other factors, there's lower barriers to entrance for building a company and things like that as well. So it's possible for companies to come in and eat your lunch if you're not careful and if you don't understand the long-term trends driving your business and industry. So that's one thing that leaders in large organizations need to know. The one really cool thing about this, though, is that if you are a leader in a smaller company and you aspire to be on the S&P 500, well, guess what? The companies that are on that index are dropping out faster than ever, and there's new companies replacing them that are doing super innovative and interesting things. So for younger companies and leaders that are a part of startups or fast-growing companies, you are not limited by that situation. You're able to keep growing and you could displace some of these big companies, and there is a potentially very bright future ahead for you. Here you see R&D spending as the new driver ahead of advertising. They used to be equal back in the 70s, and now R&D is much, much more important as a portion of companies' expenses. At the same time, you see CEOs are becoming very concerned about skill availability. 55% of global CEOs say that they are not able to innovate effectively. So this is a leadership problem, right? How do we make sure our people are ready for fast-changing business? And how do we make sure that they have the skills to take on this new fast-moving reality that we're all in?